Hello and welcome to E3 2012. I am Chris Barr with GamerFront.net, and I'm sitting here with Jason Shields, lead designer of Borderlands 2. How you doing?
Good. Great. How are you?
Doing great. So we're looking at Borderlands 2. We actually had a chance to play it earlier, and it was a lot of fun, the demo. And what is new with Borderlands 2?
It's almost hard to say what's not new about Borderlands 2. We really took our core strengths from the first game and really tried to amplify them a lot. Borderlands is all about a good, visceral, fun, fast-paced shooter. It's also about interesting, deep role-playing game experience, and sort of those two where they meet. We really wanted to push both sides of that. The gameplay is more frenetic. It's more visceral. It's more feedback and things. From the RPG standpoint, there's lots of if you're a guy who likes stats, there's so much stuff for you to dive into between gear and the classes and the skills and the guns, of course. There's just a ton of stuff. Also, the story is hugely improved from Borderlands 1. We really doubled down on story this time. We wanted to make sure if you're playing by yourself, there's a lot of story, a lot of narrative to drive you through the experience. Of course, if you're playing with friends, the game just becomes even more fun.
Awesome. And speaking of guns, I heard you guys won an award last night. Guinness put you in the world records for most guns in a video game.
Yes.
So tell us how you crammed that many guns into this game.
Great. Yeah, something like 17.7 million, I think, is the number that they officially recorded. But yeah, we are in the Guinness Book of World Records, so that's pretty cool. Borderlands 2, I'll tell you right now, is going to break that record. I would love to see Borderlands 2 replace Borderlands 1 in the Guinness Book. That'd be awesome. It should happen. There's no reason why it shouldn't, because there's more guns this time. So,
excellent. So in terms of storyline, where does this leave us from Borderlands 1 coming into Borderlands 2? Is it set? How far in the future? Things like that.
Okay. Yeah. So the first game featured 4 vault hunters that uncovered the vault. 5 years later is where we start with Borderlands 2, and who knew it? But when you opened the vault, you unleashed a mysterious element into Pandora called iridium. Iridium has a lot of value for folks, and it can be refined into a new damage type, which we have in the game called slag. So the original damage types return, and we have a new one called slag. Story-wise, there's a new antagonist called Handsome Jack. He's realized the value of iridium and wants it all for himself. In order to get this, he's going to create sort of a police state on Pandora where everyone who's not on his team becomes the enemy. So you, as new Vault Hunters, are now bandits. You're the enemy. So Handsome Jack is your new rival, and he wants to take you down.
Okay, so you said Vault Hunters as if there are people searching for the Vault again. Is the Vault going to play a large role in the storyline this time around?
Let me just say there might be more than one Vault.
Okay. Well, we'll keep our eye out for that. So since there are so many guns in here, what's your favorite gun?
I'm personally, as a player, all about fire rate. Vladoff manufacturer is my favorite because they have tons of fire rate. They have the spinning barrel like miniguns on the minigun barrels on the assault rifles. Sniper rifles even have 2 barrels. Rocket launchers have rotating. It's all about fire rate. And that's one of the big improvements we wanted to make this time is the weapons actually look like the characteristics they portray. So that's why Vladoff has things like spinning barrels, because a minigun obviously has a huge fire rate. So all the weapons, all the manufacturers have those kind of characteristics. Vladoff is my personal favorite.
All right, and then finally, let's talk about the classes. How are the classes different from the ones we saw in the first game?
Sure. Yeah, so we have 4 all-new classes, 4 different ways to play the game, 4 completely different experiences as far as building your character and building your skill trees and things. We have, first off, a new Siren. Her name is Maya. Her action ability is the phase lock, where you can essentially bubble an enemy. You can take the enemy out of combat. It's also great for tactics. You can bubble them and then phase lock them and then chuck grenades into the bubble and be just blowing the heck out of them. It's also great for target prioritization. You can say, hey, everyone, attack the guy who's phase locked. So that's kind of Maya in a nutshell. It's my personal favorite, actually. The Gunzerker, of course, Salvador, has the dual wielding ability. of all of our millions of guns, 17 million plus, you can dual wield any 2 of them, 2 rocket launchers, 2 pistols, 2 whatever you'd like. So and it's also great with the slag element that I mentioned. Slag is good at lowering an enemy's defenses, so you could nail them with slag and then hit them with a standard damage type and really just watch the damage fly off. So yeah, Salvador the Gunzerker. We have Axton. He's a commando. He's got a Scorpio turret. Scorpio turret's really interesting. You can, if you spec into certain skills, you can stick it to the ceiling. You can stick it to walls. It's got a lot of crazy varied ways you can sort of build your turret, and anything you do in your skill tree shows up on the actual turret. If you add rocket pods, it's got rocket pods on the turret. So last but not least, we have Zero. He is an assassin. Pardon me. He has a ability called Deception. He throws down a decoy. The decoy appears. Enemies gain their focus on that. It's good. It's great for sneaking around. Then after their focus on that, you can stab them in the back. You can melee them in the back, or you can retreat to like a sniper perch. So he's great for sniping and meleeing. So yeah.
And will we see any of our favorite characters that, like the Last Vault Hunters, will they show up in the game?
Yeah, so there was a lot of, we loved the first 4 characters. We wanted to keep them around. We knew that we wanted to invest in new playable characters, but we didn't want to see the old characters go away. So they are NPCs in the game. There are 4 distinct storyline missions that involve each of the previous Vault Hunters, and you get to fight alongside them. You get to interact with them a lot. So they're definitely in the game, as well as many of your other favorite characters from Borderlands 1.
Excellent. So when can we look forward to seeing this on store shelves?
Great, yeah. It'll be pretty quick. We're actually sort of wrapping up now for Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and PC on September 18th.
Excellent. So thank you very much, and enjoy E3, and we'll have more coverage for you, so stay tuned.